Hello, my name's Julie Hebert. I'm here to go over the benefits for the City of Liberty for the 2025-26 year. So we're talking about benefits that all start October the 1st, 2025. So we're going to continue everything the same as it has been. We're going to stay with United Healthcare for the medical coverage, the dental, the vision, and all the other benefits will remain with the Mutual of Omaha. The City of Liberty will continue to cover the entire cost for medical, dental, vision, and life insurance for the employee, and the payroll deductions for the employees will stay the same for the other um, lines if you cover your spouse, your child, or your family. So open enrollment's going on right now. This is your time to make changes because you want to. You can add, you can drop, you can go through and pick. It's like a cafeteria line. If you want to cover yourself for medical, dental, and vision and just pick up your kids for vision, you can do that. If you want to just pick them up for dental and your wife for life insurance, it's whatever you want to do. This is your time to make changes. All these changes will become effective October 1st, 2025. If you want to make a change after this open enrollment time period, then you will have to have a reason for that, such as a life event, like maybe you don't cover your spouse right now, but maybe he or she loses her job and you need to add that person. You have a baby, maybe you end up with custody of a child that you didn't have before. Any of those types of changes where things are different in your house and life has changed, you can let Jody know or me, and we can get those things taken care of. We do have to make those changes within 30 days. So please be sure and reach out to us if you have a question or something is changing for you. The medical insurance is going to continue with United Healthcare. The deductible will stay $3,000 for yourself. If you cover more than just yourself, it's $6,000. After you've met that deductible, United Healthcare will pay for your coverage at 80%, and you pay 20% until your maximum out of pocket of $7,150, and it is a maximum for $14,300 for a family. If you need to go to an urgent care, it's $25 a visit. Emergency rooms is $300 copay, plus you're going to meet that $3,000 deductible. What they're trying to do here is make sure that you only go to an emergency room when it truly is an emergency. We encourage you to always use urgent care when you can and save emergency rooms for life-threatening emergencies. Your primary care copay is going to be $10. A specialist is going to be 40 or 80 depending on whether or not they're a preferred provider. You can find that information on the United Healthcare website. Encourage you to look for a preferred provider because they're going to receive a lower copay for that. If you do have to have blood work or x-ray done as part of your doctor visit, it's going to be a $40 copay. If it is something like a complex image, like a CAT scan, PET scan, MRI, it's going to be a $500 copay. Preventative care is covered at 100%. So we encourage you to always make sure you're having all that done. You can have an annual well visit. You can get immunizations. You can take well preventative type medicine. It's covered at 100%. You can do things like preventative colonoscopies, mammograms, things that are required based on your age would be covered at 100%. Prescription drugs are based on the tier of medication, and so the copays are listed there for that. Here's some information on the United Healthcare Network, and we can talk some more on that in just a second. Dental benefits are provided from the Mutual of Omaha. It is a PPO, so you can use any dentist. Do encourage you to find a Mutual of Omaha dentist in the network just because you are going to receive a better benefit. You can see here the in-network and out-of-network, you receive a better payment, and it's based on a lower reimbursement rate if you go in-network. So you can go and get your teeth cleaned twice a year. That's covered at 100%. If while you're there, they say, uh-oh, looks like Julie, you have a little cavity, you're going to have a once a year deductible of $50, and then they're going to cover that at 80%, and you're going to pay 20%. If it's like a crown or a filling, it's going to be a 50-50 coverage. You do have orthodontia coverage for children, and so that's a $3,000 maximum for that. So there's the deductible. You have a $2,000 annual maximum on your dental, which is great. So you can get $2,000 worth of dental work done each year if you need to. The vision benefits are also through Mutual of Omaha. They utilize the iMed network, which is one of the larger networks in the United States. Here's information on how to call and find an in-network dentist. Again, you're going to get a much better benefit out of your vision coverage if you use an eye care provider and an eye fulfillment center, like the place where you get your glasses, if they're both in-network. You should be able to get an eye exam for $10 and you have a lens copay of $10 and then they're going to give you $150 towards your frames and 20% off of anything over that. You can get contact lens instead of glasses, but it's one or the other, not both. You can get your eyes checked every year. You can get new lenses every year, new frames every other year. The City of Liberty does provide an employer-paid life insurance that's 2 times your annual salary. It does reduce as we get older. This is just part of group coverage. You do have a retiree benefit of $5,000 if you leave the City of Liberty. If you work for the city and you have a wife or children, you can receive $5,000 of life insurance for your wife or husband and $2,000 for each child. And these are all things that are included at no cost to you. So these are all free benefits. You can also purchase voluntary short-term disability through Mutual of Omaha. You can receive 60% of your pre-tax earnings up to $1,000 per week after you've been out for 15 days due to injury or illness, and they will pay for 7 weeks. Once that time period ends, then your long-term disability would pick up and they will pay 60% of your pre-tax earnings up to $6,000 per month. You can see the benefits and the cost for that on the EASE online enrollment system. Voluntary life insurance, you can purchase additional life insurance. So you're going to receive for free 2 times your salary, but if you want to purchase additional amounts, you can for yourself, your spouse, and your children. So you can purchase in increments of $10,000 up to $300,000 for yourself, and on your spouse up to $100,000. And children can be covered for $10,000. So this is a low cost way to purchase life insurance that's payroll deducted. Critical illness is a policy that's available through Mutual of Omaha. It basically says, I'm going to purchase a policy that will pay me a lump sum amount. And when you go through EASE, you can pick that amount, say $5,000. If you were diagnosed with a serious critical illness, such as cancer, heart attack, stroke, things like that, you would receive that one-time lump sum payment, and it just could be used to help offset your medical costs, maybe pay for lost wages that you might have, things like that. Accident insurance allows you to, again, to purchase a policy that you can cover yourself, your spouse, and your children. And if you are involved in any kind of an accident, car wreck, a sports injury, any of those kinds of things, that they will pay you a set amount based on the injury. And we can go through that in a little bit more detail. Hospital indemnity insurance basically helps you cover the out-of-pocket cost of being hospitalized. So if you go into the hospital, it's going to pay you X amount per the first day and then X amount for the days following that. Same for ICU, ambulance, and those types of things. We'll go over the detail of that in just a minute. This is information about COBRA. So if you leave the city, what your insurance would cost you if you stay. This talks about whenever you become Medicare eligible and how that coordinates with your health insurance. Here's a handout on how to get the myuhc.com, and you can log in and set up an account there. You can get the app. These are very helpful because you can go on there, get a digital ID card. You can look for providers. You can also look at your explanation of benefits and compare what they're saying you should have paid to maybe what a doctor's bill is, and make sure that you're being charged appropriately. Here's some information on the Mutual of Omaha Dental. This is also telling you how to go online and set up an account with Mutual of Omaha. You can also get a app for Mutual of Omaha. You can look at eligibility and claims. You can look at your explanation of benefits. You can find a provider. You can get a digital ID card. So here's a lot of information, 800 number for them. Here's the same thing for vision. As I mentioned, it is through Mutual of Omaha. It is the iMed network. And so here's information on vision. Here's some more detailed information about how the voluntary short-term disability works and the timing, how much it pays, for how long, those types of things. some frequently asked questions. Here's the same handout for voluntary long-term insurance and how it works, how long it will pay until your Social Security retirement age. And here's about the critical illness. So basically, this is where you pick the benefit. If you were to have a heart attack and say you had a benefit of $5,000, it would pay you $5,000 upon diagnosis of that incident. If you had an organ transplant, if you had cancer, bone marrow transplant, these are all the things that it will cover for that. And here's the pricing based on your age. And that will all be in ease for you. Just drop down the menu and it will be available for you. The accident insurance, here's what we're talking about, where, if you broke a leg, if you had to go to the emergency room, it would pay you $300. You have to go to the urgent care, it's going to pay you $225. If you notice there, you go to the urgent care and it's an accident type situation, your copay for urgent care is $25. They're going to reimburse you $225. So it's a pretty good benefit, but it's only going to cover accidents, not kind of illness type situations. But this is going to pay you on hospitalizations due to an injury, and it's going to pay on things like maybe you have a fracture and maybe you had to have surgery. It's going to pay you on all these different incidences. And here's some more information, the price, frequently asked questions. Here's the hospital indemnity. So this is just helping you pay your out-of-pocket cost of being hospitalized. This could be for illness, injury, any instance where you're in the hospital. So the first day that you're admitted in the hospital, you receive $1,000 just for being admitted to the hospital. Then $100 per day. If you're in the ICU, it's $2,000 for the first day, $200 per day. And then they're talking about the newborn confinement if you're in the nursery as a newborn. And all these policies, these three policies, the hospital indemnity, the accident, and the critical illness will, if you get a physical done, then you can get a $50 reimbursement for a health screening benefit. So you can get that once per calendar year. So that's a really nice benefit if you just take advantage of your preventative care on your medical and it's free. They'll pay you $50 just for submitting that information. And that's the frequently asked questions on that. And that's just a brief summary of all the benefits. Here's my contact information if I can ever help you. My name's Julie Hebert. Here's my email, my phone number. Our office is located at North Travis and Adams Street in Liberty. We're always here to help. We appreciate the City of Liberty and all that you guys do for us here. Living here, we certainly appreciate everything that the City of Liberty does for us. So thanks so much. If I can ever be of help, please reach out.